Time ago, had the chance to talk to General Manager Brian Cashman.
Thanks, Bob. As we know, news broke early this morning that the Yankees and Aaron Judge came to an agreement. That agreement pending a physical, so it is not yet official. But, Brian, I have to ask you, what have the last 24 hours been like for you?
You know, the winter meetings are like, it's like this, where you're up a lot all night, lack of sleep, a lot of engagement. And so, it continues. It's a baseball winter every year, right?
We know how intense these negotiations have been and how long the process has been. A lot of involvement from a lot of people in the organization. How pivotal has House Steinbrenner's involvement been in them?
Well, obviously, I can't address, the big news in the room or acknowledge anything other than the fact that, we're working really hard. But I can tell you this, and as I said when I first got here to San Diego, our owner was very public early on to our fan base that, he was all in and committed. And the Steinbrenner family, led by Hal, has continued to support this franchise every which way they can. So he's put us in a good position. He's, taken the lead, as a great steward of this franchise would and should. And, obviously we have to finish things off before we can get to, a positive resolution. But, I think Hal Steinbrenner has certainly put us in a great position.
What was your level of confidence that you would even get to this point?
You know what? I'm wired negative. I think the worst and hope for the best. I think it serves me well when I start engaging clubs and agents and anything and everything. So I enter the process assuming nothing and expecting nothing and hoping, obviously, that, with a lot of conversations, it can lead to, a positive result one way or the other that's going to impact this franchise in a good way. And, listen, clearly we're talking about Aaron Judge. We've said publicly many a times from the highest level, from Hal Steinbrenner's desk to everybody from myself, Darren Boone, and his teammates that, he's our franchise players and we want to retain him. And we're going to make every effort to do so. And obviously we have some more steps to take in that process, but we're in a good position.
Brian, understanding that it's not finalized, if I were to hand you one lineup card, Aaron Judge is in it, and I was to hand you a second lineup card, he's not in it. Why does he make a lineup so much better?
I mean, he's one of the best hitters on the planet. Your specific question's lineup, but he's not just, an offensive force and one of the great hitters in the game of this generation, and maybe one of the great hitters of all time. But obviously the defense is spectacular too. You're talking about a Gold Glover who can also steal bases and hold runners as they try to, advance the bases on the defensive side. So he is just a remarkably gifted player, and that's why it's going to take a remarkable type contract to retain.
What do you think being a lifelong Yankee means to him, Brian?
I mean, he's he's been very vocal that he wants to stay here. I think he appreciates the history, his position in the franchise, and where he sits, amongst the the categories that he's climbed thus far, and some people who he's surpassed. And listen, he has visions of a world championship first and foremost, but then separately, I think he acknowledges and appreciates the fact that he has some pretty high standing currently, and maybe he can get there to Mount Rushmore at the end of the day with some of the all-time greats. You're talking Monument Park, and you're talking possibly Cooperstown, with the career trajectory he's on. He understands that, and whether it's here or elsewhere, but I think he understands how important here is, and the legacy and continuing this journey. This is the place I think he wants to be, but he has choices.
Do you expect there to be a C on his jersey in the near future, and was that part of it?
I mean, I can't get into specifics. I mean, that certainly wouldn't be part of a negotiation. That would be something separate, and something like that would be, right from the owner. George Steinbrenner always picked the captain of the Yankees, and that is a direct decision right from the Steinbrenner family. So if that's something that ultimately is part of a discussion or something that's ultimately going to happen, that's something that would be separate and distinct. But first things first, let's see if we can get a player to a podium and be able to announce certain things. But again, we have to go through some things first before we get there. We have to finish things off, so to speak, and so we're not there yet.
Brian, when Judge turned down the 7-year, $213.5 million offer in April, Where did you think the negotiation, the relationship between the two sides was going to go?
I mean, I think everybody just tried to continue the acknowledgement of we wanted to stay together, find a way to stay together, and at the same time win as many games as possible, make the playoffs, and ultimately try to win a World Series as early as this past season. And then certainly hope for the best to try to maintain that relationship moving forward. So it's been great. I mean, Aaron Judge has got amazing relationships for every aspect of this franchise, and I certainly think that pulled on him, and is pulling on him why he makes his decisions on where he wants his family to be as he moves forward in life. And again, we're going to finish things off. Hopefully our fans will be very happy in the distant future, if we can retain him.
Brian, speaking of some of those relationships, how instrumental has Aaron Boone been in this entire process?
Well, I mean, our players love playing for Aaron Boone, so it gives us a little bit of a home field advantage. I think the Steinbrenner family gives us a home field advantage for how we treat our players. I think the manager in that dugout has such strong ties with our players. They really respect him and love playing for him. And so that's, all those things get accounted for. Clearly, the financial aspect of it is probably the number one situation, but then comfort level, who you're playing for from the ownership side, and the consistent commitment to winning that the Steinbrenner family checks that box every single year to the manager, the coaching staff, and the entire operation. So, yeah, Aaron Boone's relationship, it certainly allows us to not worry about anything like that.
Brian, you've been in this position for a quarter of a century. You know what happens in New York. You accomplish one thing, and then the question is, what are you going to do next? I want to move over to the pitching side. How appealing is a pitcher like Rodon to you?
He's a great pitcher, no doubt about it. There's certainly an intent and interest from our part to find ways to continue to improve this team. So we've hit the ground running here in the winter meetings. Players are making decisions. Seems like the free agent market's moving. The trade market's been a little quiet, so I'm sure that'll change sooner than later too. But no doubt that we have to explore, all options that are available to us, and I'll stay engaged with our owner, to see what can materialize out of that. But yeah, if we can add some more pitching, it'd be benefit. Do you expect there to be more moves made in the near future? Hope so. I mean, yeah, we got some vacancies. Obviously we don't have anything official to speak to. There's been noise about a reliever we potentially could be adding. There's noise about a potential retention of a right fielder that's currently out there, none of which I can acknowledge, but there's other aspects of the club too that need to be addressed. Left field's a vacancy, the rotation, if you can strengthen it, so anything else, aspects of what's available, how does it fit, can it help us, rest assured, me and my staff will discuss it, vet it, get the information necessary, share it with Hal Steinbrenner, and ultimately see what matches can be made.
Brian, when you guys were heading into the 2022 season, a couple of things that you wanted to make sure happened. You wanted the defense to be better. You wanted to run the bases better. And the team accomplished both of those things. Heading into 2023, what are some improvements? What are some areas where you feel you guys need to get better?
I mean, it's tough. I think we had a really good team. If we had flipped the first half, second half, and if the first half we got the injuries, and the second half we had everybody healthy, flying high like the first half, I think maybe it could have been a different outcome. So I do think we're very athletic, much more athletic. Defense is spectacular. The rotation is really strong. The bullpen, is an excellent bullpen in itself, despite losing some guys. So I think we've got a lot of things to be proud of, including some young kids pushing up the ladder here on the infield side especially. So I think all the ingredients are there. It's just now how can we improve on that, which makes it more difficult because this is a strong roster already. Our intent is to make it stronger, but that doesn't, prevent us from acknowledging that this is a strong roster right now. So it makes it harder to improve upon, but again, with people like Hal Steinbrenner, and our fan base pushing us, we're out there trying to find ways to add to it and find a way to, protect us, improve us, and go from there. Understanding nothing is official with the potential candidates that you are retaining and adding to your roster, but what's the buzz like amongst the front office right now? I mean, we're grinding through it. I mean, everybody's on the clock. I mean, there's no, it's business, right? We gotta just keep plowing it forward and finding ways to, we have the Rule 5 draft today. We expect to lose some guys. Unfortunately, that happens on a yearly basis for us. And we're never really a participant in taking guys in the Rule 5 because we're trying to, we have to leave roster spots open for potential free agents to pull in and sign. Listen, our guys, I think we're tired, but it's a healthy tired, and I don't think we're like any other, we're a lot like all the other offices. We're here grinding it out, sequestered in our hotel rooms, texting away, phone calls away. Guys are down in the lobby that, that have a chance to navigate and get information from other clubs about what's going on out there, or maybe pick up some stuff from the media. It's it's an unhealthy process, but hopefully the outcome is all that matters, and that's what we want.
Will you sleep?
A good outcome.
Will you sleep easy tonight? That's my question.
I hope so. I'm going to need it. But we'll see.
I know you have some other media members to talk to, so we're going to let you go, but thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Send it back to you, Bob.